Hi everybody, it's Jennifer McCreath. It is October 7th, 2015. Quite a bit under the weather today. This sore throat and headache just doesn't seem to want to go away. I want to turn the camera on and just talk for a few minutes. Specifically, I want to apologize to the St. John's Board of Trade for not being able to attend your event today. I was really excited to be invited, and I feel badly that I was not able to be there. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the issues you were hoping to have me chat about today, and I want to dispel some myths that I'm a left-winger, because there's actually a lot of right-wing ideologies in me here as well. I've read through the documents that you sent me from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, and I took note that their CEO and president is Parent Beatty, someone I have a lot of respect for. Of course, the youngest person ever elected into federal political office at that time. I believe he was 22. The youngest person put in a cabinet at the age of 29. 4 principles for this, what is it called? A Canada that wins. I love it. Access to a powerful workforce, access to capital, access to technology and innovation, and access to markets. Let me first talk about powerful markets. Or no, we're going to talk about powerful workforce. I represent a demographic, a Generation X. Generation Squeeze is another term I've seen used. There's actually a new organization out there. I grew up in the 90s, and I was told that if I was bright, which I was, that I should go study science and that there would be lots of great jobs for me. A lot of us graduated from high school in the early 90s. We went on to university to take science. Some of us graduated, some of us dropped out, and a lot of us could not find jobs. I ended up being one of the former. I could not handle the science program. So I dropped out of university. I went and lived in the real world for a while. I was actually a bank teller for a couple of years. I spent some time in the retail hardware business. At the ripe old age of 23, decided it was time to go back to school. I got a business administration diploma, and then got a university degree in administration management. I hear a lot of businesses raising concern that there are not workers available with qualified skill sets and experiences. And I think this is the major problem. We need to look at what we are doing. We are pushing teenagers out of high school into colleges and university programs that might not necessarily prepare them for the real world and give them the skill sets and experiences that are necessary. I love the idea of having co-op programs. I actually was part of a co-op program with Humber College. 3-year program. I found a good summer job the first year, but then there were challenges. Not enough businesses were willing or able or logistically capable of taking in a college student. A lot of people in that class had to move out of the co-op into the regular stream because there just weren't co-op jobs available, and that's really sad. I've been hearing for 25 years now, wait till the baby boomers retire, you'll get good jobs. What about succession planning? It's critically important. Here I've been sitting with all these great educational credentials with no career path. The idea of a permanent job, very tough. It's temporary assignment here, it's contract over there, it's part-time, casual. It's very difficult to find a career path and grow when you're constantly jumping around from assignment to assignment. And I get the importance of immigration, and I appreciate that there's a lot of talent out there around the world. And yes, by all means, bring that talent in here to St. John's and to other parts of Newfoundland. At the same time, let's take a look at the people who are here. People who were either born here or people like myself who moved here to take a good job. Let's retain us. I've lived in St. John's for almost 9 years. I've got my finger on the pulse of a lot of things going on here. I bring intangibles to the table that you might not get if you fly someone in here who lives halfway around the world who's never even heard of us. Building a powerful workforce has to start at home. Access to capital, absolutely. A lot of small businesses just don't have the money. Debt is a huge issue. I keep reading it. My generation, again, are the first generation ever who will not do as well financially as our parents. My parents in their mid-20s were married. They had full-time permanent jobs. They owned a car. They owned a house. Not my generation. A lot of my generation lives at home and still does. Heck, I didn't leave home till I believe I was 29 or 30. And I feel fortunate that I can actually say that I live on my own. I can sustain individual life. I can pay my rent. I don't have to have 5 or 6 roommates to split the bills. Money, investment. The last thing on my mind right now is investing. I'm just trying to stay out of debt, keep the bills paid. Would I like to start a small business? Sure. But I'm in no position to do so right now. Access to capital. I got to admit, I don't know a lot about the bank loaning protocols. Sure, and it's not fair to ask banks to loan people money to start businesses if their business plan aren't good. How do we resolve that issue? I'm not totally sure. But again, you give people a solid foundation to build their life around, they'll be less likely to be suffering from debt and more likely to have disposable income where they can actually invest in projects and new businesses. Access to technology and innovation, absolutely. The internet just exploded on us 20 years ago, and we're still evolving as a globe in terms of understanding what all can we use this internet for. And where are all the brightest technologically sound people? Where are these innovators? Are they in Canada? Are they in Silicon Valley? Are they halfway around the world in China or Japan? Ultimately, I think we need to recognize that technology is allowing our world to become more global. And sure, there's going to be competition out there, but one thing Canada has always strived to be is a knowledge-based economy. Sure, we might be struggling with our abilities to create and produce raw materials, but we are highly educated. We train people. We spit out a lot of university grads. There's a lot of potential out there. And again, I think this goes back to capital. You find ways to create organizations. You find ways to create jobs, good jobs. You'll get good people with expertise in technology who can come to the table, jump into organizations, stay there, build a life, build a career, and do so right here in St. John's. Access to markets. Well, we got this new thing called the TPP, Trans-Pacific. I found a 101 document about this thing that was 100 pages long. So I'm scared to look at the full document, which is probably 1,000 pages. I've heard some good things about it. I've heard some bad things about it. Access to markets. First and foremost, markets here at home. People are not going to be spending money on products if they're broke, if they're struggling to pay the bills. Again, I go back to a powerful workforce here at home. We need to ensure that the people of Newfoundland and Labrador have solid bases, have good jobs, can make enough money, not only that they can invest in themselves, in infrastructure, buy a house, have real estate, have a car, but have good quality, safe career paths so you can actually save up money and have, disposable income to play with. I'm not going to buy technology products if I don't have money to buy them. Sure, are there markets around the world? There's a lot of money all over the world. A lot of people making money in China, a lot of people making money in India. Sure, if you can create great products that you can sell to them, do it. And if there's a role that I could play as an elected member of Parliament, tell me what you need and I'll take those things to the table. That's what strength and democracy is all about. We're not about partisan political party lines. We're about grassroots collaboration and cooperation. But I still think we got to focus on making ourselves strong here at home before we can really tap into what the rest of the world is doing. Anyway, those are my quick thoughts. If anyone wants to get in touch, info@jennifermcreath.com. You can go to my website, votejennifer.info, learn a little bit more about me. Thanks for watching.